A 1, 2, 3.
Gonna walk that promenade, yeah, we're gonna rock that promenade, be the talk of that promenade, looking for a star drifter, not a shapeshifter, lots to do and more to see, sweet sticks from a jump tree, oh, oddities, opportunities, free advice, but not for cheapo gambling wheels, shaded deals, meet me back here tomorrow, please. Walk that promenade. Yeah, we're gonna rock that promenade.
Hello and good evening for this Monday, March 11th, 2024. Star Trek DS9, Season 7, Episode 16, Arma Enim Silent Leges or something or other, is over, and it has been since 1999. But we're just getting started here on Live Long and Podcast in 2024, 25 years later, to review another episode of DS9 as we're coming down to our final 15 episodes. We started on this journey 4 years ago, and we're nearly done. But before we get there, we have this one to talk about. I'm Dave Mader. We're live streaming here on Facebook, YouTube, and on Twitch, or you might be listening to us on the audio version. Sorry for the late start tonight. I had daylight savings time. Who invented this crap? I say do away with it. Anyway, on that note, we got a great panel here to break this all down. Coming to us from a Galaxy-class bridge near you, it's Jody Simpson.
Hello, Dave.
Hello. How is it there on the?
You know what? Everything's working great. We got clocks that work at the right time. We're doing good.
Great, perfect. Thank you. That's good. Coming to us, not from a Galaxy class bridge, but from his bedroom. It's the inimitable Kevin Millard.
Hello, Dave.
Hello, and he's back with us. He was gone for a week. He was traveling the world, mostly Alberta, but he's back here now, ready to talk to us about some Romulan sabotage, perhaps. It's Adam Woodward.
Hey, welcome back. I'm happy to be back. Had a week of R&R out in Banff and skiing. It was great.
Nice. Glad to have you back. Oh, skiing in Banff, like Wesley Crusher and the other guy who got killed in the shuttle accident. What was his name? Josh. Remember Josh? Who got in the red, in the Red Squad stuff.
Well, that's where he got his sweater.
Yeah, where he's like, yeah, we were skiing in Alberta. Yeah, exactly. So you were doing it up like Wesley Crusher.
Just like Wesley.
Did you wear an ugly sweater there too?
Of course I did.
Excellent.
Excellent. So back to this episode. It's a Latin name. The translation means in times of war, the law falls silent. From Cicero, Arma Enim Silent Leges, the 166th episode of Deep Space Nine, and the 16th. We're in the final, 10 episodes of this final season, and we're here to talk all about it, guys. So I always like to start with Adam because he's never watched these episodes, so we'll go to him first. But maybe how was this episode for you, Adam?
Okay, can I start with last week's first?
Yes, of course.
Okay, because I was behind, and I told you guys on Saturday I watched Bada Bing Bada Boom,
Bada Bang,
Bada Bang, whatever.
But
I watched it on Saturday, and coming out, I thought, hey, it was fine for a Holosuite episode. Not my favorite kind of episodes, and I gave it a decent rating.
You gave it a 7.
7, thank you. And then yesterday I watched this episode, and it reminded me what Star Trek is supposed to be like. And I took down last week's episode to a 3 because this was great. It was a very, very solid episode. And I said to you on Saturday, guys, like, when is it going to get good? And it got much better.
Yeah. I think that was kind of what I was anticipating when you said, okay, I changed it to a 3 and I'll explain tomorrow. I was like, he watched the next episode and he realized that's a good episode.
Sorry,
And,
Heather. Yeah, 3, and I'll tell you, it just for me, it was boring. Like, I'm bored of Vic. I'm bored of staying on the station, and here we are. Yesterday, a solid episode.
Right. And this is not even about like the Jemadar or the Dominion. It's about their allies in the war, right? Which I think is even more interesting in a lot of ways.
You know what? I like they trekked in Star Trek. I like that.
They trekked somewhere.
And they trekked
you know,
somewhere.
They left somewhere. Yes, that's
right. Deep Space Nine, famously not a ship, it's a station. So usually the action's
Oh
coming
no, that
down,
didn't stop them. They moved the whole fucking station in one episode. But anyway,
Well, across the solar system, but yeah, not it doesn't have
That still
warp
drives
drive,
me nuts,
but they have the Defiant and that kind of stuff for those types of things. But yeah, it's they went all the way to Romulus. A place we haven't gone to a lot in Star Trek. I guess a place we won't go too much more now that it's been blown up. So, but this is before the destruction of Romulus. Kevin, let's go to you. How was this one on the rewatch for you?
I like this episode. I like the showing the shady side of Starfleet and of it. Like when we get that a lot with Badmirals, like Ross is a Badmiral in this, but he gets away with it. Same with like in the Pale Moonlight. They're all getting away with it now. And that's interesting because usually they're caught in Star Trek, right?
Right.
And yeah. So I really like it.
Heather's a fan of Bada Bing, Bada Bang, Adam. So she's.
I believe this comment was for you, Adam.
I know. I get it.
Yeah.
Adam loves that, or not Adam. Sorry, Davan loves that episode. And I thought it was.
See, Heather, if Davan likes the episode, you should rethink your position.
I thought it was sort of forgettable, that one, but this one not so much. This one has a lot to remember in it. Although it's plot wise, guys, it's fast. It's like only 326 stills I took in this, and I probably could have cut that down a bit more because it's there's some long talking scenes, right? So it doesn't there's not as much visually to kind of explore here, but
can we just mention it had the great William Sadler in it too?
I love.
We sure can.
Colonel Stewart from Die Hard 2.
Colonel Stewart.
Yeah, always be Colonel Stewart to me.
Always Colonel Stewart.
and the Grim Reaper from.
He's the Grim Reaper.
He's also the Grim Reaper as well. Yeah.
From
Bill and Ted's.
Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, which is what I really know him for first. That was my kind of introduction to him. Where's my my thing?
You might be a king or a little street sweeper, but sooner or later you dance with the Reaper.
I agree with Heather 100% here.
William
He is
Sadler.
A++ in everything.
Everything.
Oh, I thought she was talking about his ass for a second. But
Well, that's too. That'd be fine.
Especially in.
Well, you saw it in Die Hard 2.
Die Hard 2.
Right at the beginning.
Yeah, I know he's great in this. Okay, and I feel like, well, Davan said he was going to maybe join us towards the end, so I do have a couple questions for him because he doesn't normally like anything Section 31.
Yeah,
but I know he likes this episode, so I wonder why he likes it this time and not the other times. But let's get into it, guys, because we start off in the war room, literally, in a meeting between representatives of the Klingon Federation and Romulan empires. Although there's no Worf's present, but Worf is not. I know Worf is a Klingon, but Worf is not a member of the Klingon Defense Force. Anyway. He seems to be a liaison of sorts, at least. Anyway, so this meeting's with Kira, who's kind of talking about the repair schedule at Deep Space Nine during the war, and that the Romulan ships aren't getting fixed fast enough. It complains Senator Kretak, who we met earlier this season. She had that whole confrontation with Kira about putting the weapons on the Bajoran moon, where they set up the hospital. So she's back for this one.
I'm almost positive she was on Enterprise at one point too.
Who plays her?
Adrian Barbeau.
Adrian Barbeau? I feel like
Barbeau.
that's the name we should know.
Yeah, she was in.
Rizzo.
She wasn't Rizzo.
In the original Broadway.
Oh, the Broadway. Pardon me. Okay. Yeah, she was in Swamp Thing actually. That came claim to fame.
Oh, really? Okay.
Creep Show. Swamp Thing,
Creep Show. That's where I know her from.
Escape from New York. The Fog.
Escape from New York. I remember that too. Yeah.
Yeah. So she's in this one. Anyway, so she's complaining. Her character, the Romulan senator, is complaining that the Klingon ships are getting fixed faster than the Romulan ships are because Worf says because the Romulan ships don't go into battle as fiercely as the Klingons, and she says, well, that's really because the Klingons are reckless and dumb, and they get themselves attacked more.
True.
So Brian says, no problem. I can fix up the Romulan warbirds, but we're gonna have to bump. He mentions 2 ships, the Hornet and also the Rataran Martok ship. And Worf is gonna have the one to give the news. I thought it was weird that Sisko's not in this meeting. I find it weirder that Odo attends these meetings because he's not involved in the war at all. But anyway, but
I come to think of it, that is odd.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so that's kind of where it ends. That's kind of like the summary of the meeting. And then Senator, you're going to your little conference on Romulus, right? And she's like, yeah, but my lieutenant will take over for me. I think that was like the main substance of the conversation. Then we catch up with Garrick and Bashir on the promenade, who are having a walk and talk as they go to the Replimat for coffee or whatever. And basically, Bashir's like, I'm going to the conference on Romulus, and I'm going to get to talk medical stuff and whatever. And Garrick is like, oh, the Romulans, because Garrick used to be a spy on Romulus as a gardener. He's like, yeah, it was one of my better assignments. He starts telling us about the Romulan, just the aesthetics. He's like,
everything is gray. Everything is gray.
Everything is gray. I had to pull that.
I must tell you, I'm disappointed.
Sorry.
Romulus, how well I remember it. You'll find the predominant color to be gray. The buildings, the clothes, the people. Did you know that the Romulan heart itself is gray? It's true. And altogether appropriate for such an unimaginative race.
An unimaginative race is how Garrick describes it. The irony, too, is that Cardassian skin is gray. And yet he refers to the Romulans as gray. The people, gray. They're just...
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure he means personality.
Oh, he does. Yeah. And he's going on about it. But so then they start talking about big shoulder pads. They start talking about, he's like, well, you're going to take advantage of this opportunity to spy on the Romulans, I'm sure. And Bashir's just like, what do you mean? They're our allies.
They're our allies. That's the best.
They're our allies, Garrick. I had to pull that. He's just so incredulous.
They're our allies, Garrick.
They're our allies, Garrick. He's like, come on. Are you telling me?
I'm talking to a 12-year-old.
Yeah, he's like, who? They let you join Starfleet? Garrick cannot believe it, right? He's like, you gotta spy a little bit. Please tell me you're not that naive. I love this exchange, this little speech that Garrick gives here about how he's the eternal optimist.
I must tell you, I'm disappointed at hearing you mouth the usual platitudes of peace and friendship regarding an implacable foe like the Romulans. But I live in hope that one day you'll come to see this universe for what it truly is, rather than what you'd wish it to be.
And I think that's a big theme of all this is your ideals versus reality, but how much of that is perception and how you choose to look at the world, and how I think that there's a lot of things to balance out here. And I think too, this episode, it was reminding us that it's kind of an allegory, I think, for World War II or any kind of major thing, because at the end of World War II, of course, England or United States, Great Britain, and the Soviet Union kind of beat Nazi Germany. But just because you had defeated a common enemy didn't mean now that you were not. That's kind of what brought on the Cold War, right? Was now you had these two superpowers, and so and that's what they're all kind of seeing. They're looking ahead past the war. They're like, okay, when the war is over, the Klingons are probably going to be in shambles, is what Sloan tells us, and it's going to come down to the Federation and the Romulans. They're going to become the two big powers. They don't know that the destruction of Romulus is a few years away, so that's still, but yeah, that's kind of like the way that they're setting up this episode. But Bashir says he's going to try to be as cynical and as mistrustful as Garrick from now on. He's like, oh, if only you meant it. But great use of Garrick in this episode, in this scene.
Yeah, they always love to bring Garrick out for the Section 31 episodes, they almost all start with a talk from Garrick.
Right.
Yeah.
But then he never interacts with them. I think like Garrick versus Sloan would be interesting. But we never get that, right? So never could they be the same guy, Norman? I don't know. Garrick and Sloan. Anyway, but so of course Bashir's getting ready to go on this trip to Romulus. And where does Sloan find him? Where he always does, in his pajamas, guys. Bashir loves his pajamas. He just wakes up with Sloan already in the room.
He really likes to button them up, eh? Like to the top.
Oh yeah, right up to the
Oh,
top.
yeah.
Just don't. He's very English.
I want to know where Kukalaka is.
Yeah. Where's Kukulaka? Good question. But anyway, Sloan's here to give an assignment. He's here for his next assignment. You remember the last time we saw Sloan? Didn't Cisco say the next time Sloan gives you an assignment, you're going to say yes?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess his genetically enhanced brain forgot that part. So, but that's kind of what
I'm not convinced he does.
apparently it didn't work on the interrogation equipment. Anyway, so that's the open, and then after the credits, we get our title card with this the first of many Latin names that will come in Star Trek titles, but this was the first one ever. Yeah, so Cisco said that. And so Bashir's like, I'm not playing ball with you. I don't work for you, Sloan. You can't do this, Sloan. He's always so angry at Sloan.
So who else when we saw William Sadler was waiting for him to like go in front of like a view screen and just like strip to nothing and start doing like cool poses?
Tai Chi.
Yeah, some Tai Chi in front of the view screen.
I was
That would've
hoping
been
he
amazing.
didn't, but yeah, well, it would have been, but it didn't happen.
Unfortunately.
No, it didn't happen. Sloan gives him. He says, "You're going to spy on the Romulans at this conference for us." And he's like, "No, I won't, Sloan." He's like, "Yes, you will. We're going to give you an assignment. It's going to come out." Just want Ronald D. Moore wrote this episode, and I always love Ronald D. Moore scripts. And
It's a fairly well written episode, I think.
yeah. I agree. David Livingston, director.
Definitely better than last week.
Yes.
The dialogue was terrible.
Yeah, just like and so Bashir refuses, and Sloan's like, "Whatever, man, you're gonna say yes. You want to be in the game, too bad, or whatever." Yeah, that's, I guess, their psychological profile. You want to play secret agent, and we're gonna let you. So bye, and then he kind of like leaves the quarters. Bashir grabs a phaser and chases after him down the corridor.
What was the point of this? Was he actually going to shoot him?
I don't know.
Like, I didn't get that.
He nearly shoots Ezra.
Pretty mediocre genius. Did he really think he was going to catch him? Like,
Yeah, but why wouldn't he bring it up when he was in the room?
Yeah.
Who shoots William Sadler anyway? Like, come on.
I'm
Yeah.
going to wait till he leaves, and then I'm going to try to shoot him.
Yeah. I was like, oh, I should have shot him. Jeez. At least stun him.
Yeah, that was weird.
Maybe he was worried about his sexuality.
Now we get the next scene is basically Bashir going to Cisco's office the next day and kind of explaining everything. We find out that at this point, like, Cisco's already talked to Admiral Ross about it, and they're like, "Well, we agree that you should play along with Sloan's plan and find out what you can find out, and because we can't call off this conference. It's too important." Now, what I wanted from I think what the episode's missing is a bookend to this scene, because we don't when at the end, when it's all kind of unraveled and it's all revealed, Bashir does confront Ross, and then he has a final conversation with Sloan, but he never comes back around to Cisco and say, "Admiral Ross sucks. Did you know?"
I'm convinced that like literally they shot all of Cisco's scenes in like 20 minutes for the entire season. Like, he barely shows up in any episodes in season 7. Like, he's always got like
I wonder
his two little
if
things.
Avery Brooks was pissed off
maybe.
that Terry Farrell was let go.
Oh, maybe.
I would speculate yes, because I think they all signed on. They were all signed for 6 seasons, and they all had to agree for this final season. And I'm sure he negotiated like it down as much as so he would have more time. He nearly quit the show, I think, in the 2nd season or 3rd season. He was just like, the hours are ridiculous, insane, and like if he had quit the show when he was really threatening to, like, what would they have done? Like, get Kira to like take it over, and like, I think it would have been a tough thing to do.
So last week that
okay.
he was playing himself and saying, "Get back to work. I don't want to go to the holodeck."
So there's an article here that says that Avery Brooks only signed on for half the season of season 7, so that's why we don't see him a lot. So which might have been in relation to.
So yeah, like they're like, okay, we're gonna have to get assist. Like maybe they probably had to film him in blocks or whatever.
Well, it just doesn't seem like, if you notice, his lines don't always really, like, what he says doesn't always totally match the scene. So I'm wondering if like they just kind of pre-wrote a whole bunch of things and then just kind of,
or they shot it and then they had to fit it into the episode.
Yeah, because at this point they already know what all the episodes are going to be about. They got like a synopsis and then
but they're rewriting the episodes constantly, right?
Oh yeah.
I find that after the first 2 episodes, his performances lack that certain vigor that they usually do.
Yeah,
they're pretty flat.
Oh yeah, like it almost feels like owned everything in.
I'd say the baseball one he's pretty strong in.
Oh, he's good in the baseball one, yes. But these ones, like these ones where he's just maybe 2 scenes in an episode, they're just meh,
forgettable. Yeah. And we never get it. Like he was supposed to be working with Bashir to figure out this Section 31. This was a plot line set up over many episodes, and I feel like it's never resolved at all, or even addressed, right? Or talked about again after this, right? So anyway, so Sisko kind of sends Bashir on his way, and that's good luck on the trip, Doctor. So sends him on his way, and then we see the ship that he takes to go to this conference is an Intrepid class, just like USS Voyager, which I thought was a neat choice because they already had all these sets, of course, from Voyager at the time, and they just had to reuse them. This is the USS Bellerophon. Is that how you say it? Bellerophon. Anyway, and they're enjoying some Romulan ale. No longer illegal with the Alliance on with the Romulans, guys. Although Admiral Ross finds it a little strong. It's a little strong for old Bill. Would you like something else? They're all laughing at Bill. He can't handle it. He never crossed the line. It was illegal. And I think this is to maybe establish that Bill Ross is a Boy Scout, like kind of Starfleet officer. He's not going to even break that rule, but
even a Boy Scout can turn Badmiral.
Yeah.
True.
I think that's the thing, and they're like, well, and then Sloan shows up here in the mess hall, shocking Bashir. I guess, and watching the episode now, knowing Bill already knows who Sloan is. He's in on this whole plot. It's interesting to see this setup in when you watch it back the second time. So Sloan pretends to be like this etymologist, like this, I don't know, he's like a professor guy. I don't know. He was kind of funny when he was his cover persona was kind of interesting. But he takes Bashir aside for under the false pretense conversation. I want to hear all about your Kukulaka or whatever is going on at D9. Anyway, so then they have this conversation. It's just
I love when he says you better get better at hiding your reactions. You almost blew the whole thing when you saw me.
Yeah, that look of shock is good that they did see that. You suck at being a secret agent, Bashir. Anyway, but of course Bashir goes to talk Bill Ross right about it, right in the observation lounge up on the off the bridge, and talking to Bill Ross. He's like, okay, well, we can't tell anybody yet, but you keep getting information. Then, and we find out that his cover story, Sloan's cover story, is holding out. He's whoever he's pretending to be, they think he actually is this person. But Bill Ross is in on it. Bill is an operative, so that's the whole thing with this episode. Then we're in Bashir's quarters, I think. So we're looking at these holographic projections of all of the different Romulans they're going to be meeting at the conference that they're interested in. There was this guy. There was this guy is like the new Praetor, I guess. We'll see him later on in the episode. They're kind of going over all the biographical details. We find out his family was killed by the Klingons when he was a kid. And then we meet this guy, this Tal Shiar guy. what's his name, like Koval or something. Koval. It's played by John Fleck. He's like the Tal Shiar guy, the guy who's anti-Federation, whatever. But they're trying to figure out if he has this disease, this Davan syndrome, and they want Bashir to figure that out. That's the pretense of what his assignment is, to kind of do a diagnosis.
Davan syndrome has anything to do with Tuvix
Or Tuvok.
or Tuvok even.
Yeah, maybe. Anyway, so okay, and this is where Bashir's like, we can't be interfering in their internal affairs. This is against the Prime Directive, Sloan. And he's like, come on. Like, do you know who I am?
Doctor, look who you're talking to. Like, Jesus
you
Christ.
do know where I'm from, right? Like,
He says, let's make a deal, Doctor.
Let's make a deal, Doctor. I'll spare you the ends justify the means speech, and you spare me the we must do what's right speech. You and I are not going to see eye to eye on this subject, so I suggest we stop discussing it.
Yeah. And the other thing he says later on is,
Pull your head out of the sand and take a look around. These are not nice people we're dealing with here.
I love that line. That was so good.
Yeah.
right? And Bashir's like, oh, fine.
This guy took over Dulles International Airport. Like, he knows what's going on.
He did. But he couldn't beat Bill and Ted at Twister, could he?
That's true.
So anyway, we go to Romulus, this matte painting of Romulus. This is only a few years before it was shown in Nemesis, which of course it looked so much better in Nemesis than this.
Mm-hmm.
But it was kind of neat to see Romulus. Oh, I guess it was only in Unification that the two-parter was with Leonard Nimoy in Next Gen. That was the only other time I think we ever went to Romulus before this.
I think you might be right.
Yeah, it's kind of it's interesting to see again as they're at this conference. Of course, they're wearing the dress uniforms now that were introduced in Star Trek Insurrection, the dress whites.
They're probably the exact ones.
Yeah. Well, I thought
we'll probably find that out in fast.
Do you guys like these better than the old dress uniforms?
Yes. Better than the dresses for the dress uniforms? Yeah, way better.
I like the dresses.
No.
I didn't hate the dresses.
They just look so awkward.
These are very tuxedo-esque. So I think that
Heather likes these on your uniform though. Holy cow!
I don't like the gray middle panel. I wish it was just all white.
I don't think it was actually gray. I think it was blue.
This part, this part it's grayish blue, whatever you want to call it. But so you have like the color, the division color, sort of on the neck and on the sleeve here. But yeah, it's we're going to be ranking uniforms, guys, in a few weeks. If you didn't know.
I can't wait to not be on that.
This will be one of the choices.
Oh, I'd like to be on that, Dave.
Okay, you can come. You can come to the uniform convention.
Do you know how long that's going to take?
Not that long. Not as long as it took us to do like other things. Because there's fewer uniforms than there are like ships and whatever. So
yes, but there's a uniform connoisseur on the panel.
I know. So
why don't we just let you rank everything and none of us show up? How about that?
No, we need consensus.
Oh, okay.
So anyways, but guys, back to the episode. Back to this. Koval shows up and he asks Bashir. He's like, "Hey, Bashir, how's it going?" He doesn't actually ask him how's it going. I know that was good.
That's
good.
I like that one. That was good.
He's like, can you tell me about that quickening virus? He's like, yeah, sure. What do you want to know? He's like, how do I use it on people? How do I introduce it into a population? He's like, well, I don't know so much.
Heather wants to be on the panel for that. Make sure that
uniform. Oh yeah, Heather, you can come for that. I think we're gonna have one of Pugsley's friends. Maybe we'll have too many people, but that's okay. Because uniforms are important. Anyway, so then we saw Kreetok and Bashir talking at the conference. Then she's referring to, you got to talk to Koval. So important. I never get to talk to him. Whatever. But, we're supposed to like Kreetok, right? We're supposed to feel like she's a friend, to the Federation.
Well, and that brings up one of my points for this episode is that they did not write us caring about her that much because I literally didn't care. Like, there's that scene later on where he's like, what's going to happen to her? And, he's like, well, she's going to get kicked off the council. Then she's going to go to jail. And then he's like, is she going to get executed? He's like, meh.
Maybe, probably.
And I guess at that point, we're supposed to have the feels, but it's like, I don't care.
Well,
I started to care about her, and then I lost it. Like they just sort of lost her. I thought
Yeah.
as a character somewhere midway.
yeah, she liked jump joysticks, guys, though. Anyway. So then we go to Bashir's little his seminar on the blight. He's explaining it out, and so he starts doing the analysis on Koval as Sloane's asked him to. Starts looking at how much he's blinking and whatever to try to like diagnose if he has Tuvan syndrome or not just by looking at him. Then Sloane, comes up afterwards and gets a report, and he's like, "Does he have?" But this is all to set up Bashir, right? This is not really what Sloane wants to know at all. So there's a plot within a plot here. Anyway, so and then he goes to see Bill Ross, who's wearing the dress uniform as well. I like that middle panel being white. I think you don't like that as much.
Looks like a washboard.
Yeah, I think it should be open.
You think it should be like a jacket?
Yeah, Dave. When you zip it up like that, I think it really shows the imperfections of his body and the lines. It just doesn't.
Well, and horizontal lines aren't very.
He's also sitting down, which is not helping the matters. But
well, and I'm pretty sure that was somebody else's that they just kind of adapted for him.
This is Patrick Stewart's, and
that clearly does not fit him.
Well, you're about the same size as Patrick Stewart, right? And Barry Jenner.
Gonna have to be. It's the only one.
Even his head is bigger than Patrick Stewart.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And this is coming from a guy who's got a pretty big forehead. Like, come on.
Yeah. Anyway, but he's like, they're planning to assassinate the Koval because Sloane asks him, could we like speed up his Tuvan syndrome with like a thing? He's like, they're gonna murder him. He's like, oh no, well, we can't tell anybody. We can't call off this conference. And so Admiral Ross starts making all these excuses. He starts ordering Bashir not to talk to people about it, not to do this. He's like, get over it, whatever, right? So another one of how he's complicit in all this. Poor Bashir. So ideal. I like some of these exterior shots where we see the ship and the Romulan fleet there at Romulus. That's nice touches in the in-betweens there. And then so Bashir's in the mess hall reading something, and he hears these two officers talking about how one of the admirals had an aneurysm and he's out of commission. Which admiral are you talking about? It's Admiral Ross. Oh no, not Admiral Ross. He was the only guy I knew who knew about this plot that Sloane's got the murder going. And then we see Sloane in the mess hall, and he's got the orange juice.
And he's laughing it up with some chick.
He's laughing it up. He's
like, hello.
Hello. Always a step ahead.
It reminds me of the end of what was it? Dark Knight Rises, where it's like, they're sitting at the patio. And he's like,
Yeah. Exactly. Oh, yeah. When he's having cappuccinos with Catwoman.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I know the one you mean. Yes, Bashir kind of shook up from this scene. Sloane, such a great villain, in so many ways. Aneurysm. That's alliterative. Yes. Back to Romulus, where Bashir goes to talk to the Senator Kretak. She's like, "You're the only one who knows who I am, and I need your help. And can you look in this database, this Tal Shiar database, for me, and try to figure out maybe who would want to kill Koval?"
Do you guys think this was a bad idea?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think that Bashir is the best choice for this job.
I can't think of a single person on DS9 that would be a good choice for this job. Technically, maybe Odo,
Garrick,
yeah, Garrick for sure. Yeah.
Garrick would have done
it.
Was
perfect. This is exactly what they wanted to have.
Well, they wanted a dumb guy, right?
He was a perfect mark. He was the perfect mark for them, and they're like, "Do this, and he'll do this."
And that would believe anything. Yeah.
Again, I would like to point out he's a pretty mediocre genius. Like he should have been able to figure out some of this with his super intelligence, right? Like it seems pretty convenient.
I know guys that are stoned 24 hours a day that could have figured this out quicker.
He does figure it out, but it's a little late.
It's over. Of course he figures it out when it's over.
Yeah.
Kira could have done better.
Kira might have been able to pull that
off.
Kira
would have been more with the pragmatic viewpoint, I think.
She probably would have punched somebody out by the end of it, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, probably Probably Sloan. So Sloan comes to see Bashir, and so Bashir lies to him. He goes, "Well, I'm not so sure he's got Tufan syndrome. Sloan, maybe he's got the mumps. I don't know. I need to do another scan. Get another." He's like, "Well, maybe you can get like an adhesive on your hand, and when you shake his hand, you'll take his skin cells, and then you'll be able to analyze it. Sounds like a plan."
Oh boy! Again, who's the doctor?
But you're at like a catered event. You couldn't find a fucking cup anywhere that he's already drank out of or something. Like,
Oh, he was drinking out of that juice glass.
There
Oh no,
you
he
go.
wasn't drinking.
Oh no,
juice.
that was
No, that was Sloan.
Yeah.
You can analyze Sloan's DNA pretty easily. So then we go to Romulus.
It won't be on file.
Where Bashir's, he's like, "Here I go. Here goes my secret agent mission." And he looks. I like how he's like looking at Sloan.
Man.
So he's going for it. And can you look any more obvious with this smile?
Yeah.
Hello. And the way he just looks down at his hand is just like, yeah, okay.
He's like, fucking humans.
Also, I feel like they should be able to do DNA analysis with a tricorder. They literally do everything else with a tricorder.
No, yeah.
Shouldn't they just be able to go?
Well, we used to see Beverly all the time figure out whose kid this is from the tricorder scan, so couldn't be that hard.
True, but not Bashir. He can't do it. So he's not as good with his.
I think Kevin's right. I think he's literally the shittiest genius they have in Starfleet.
If he named his tricorder Sally, maybe it would respond.
Maybe.
Anyway, but then Bashir gets interrogated. He gets led to this room, which he didn't understand he was getting led into a trap.
Sorry. I laughed.
As soon as you see two Romulans flanking a chair, it's time not to sit down.
Yeah, at this point, you should have just went right back out the door again.
Yeah, well, he was kind of like, he's like, you would be.
Would have been awesome if he just looked at him and went, "I thought we were talking alone."
Yeah, I thought we were talking alone. We're allies.
Actually, after the first slap, it would have been better where he's like, "What? No lap dance?" That would have been good too.
That would have been so good. But we're allies.
We're allies. I told Garrick.
That makes it so.
So they put on these
You have to call Kira now.
On his temples. They're like, "We're not even going to bother asking you questions. We're just going to try to read your mind with this machinery." Fast forward a few hours, and apparently his genetically enhanced brain can resist this technology. But they've been, I guess, smacking him across the lips.
A punch.
You got a pretty good fat lip there from that Romulan smack there. Anyway, that's where they're figured out, and so they're like, "Why don't you come with us, Bashir?" They take him to this thing. It's called the Romulan Continuing Committee, which we're told is a pretty important group of Romulans.
See, if they have a continuing committee, do they already know that Romulus is going to blow up?
No, I don't think so. I don't think it's in reference to that. I think it's just about the
funny though.
It would be the continuation of the Romulan people. Anyway, so the senator's being interrogated now. She has an incredible story, Bashir, and you're a big part of it. So why don't you tell us what's up with the senator? And basically, this is what Bashir does. He's like, he kind of explains that, the Section 31 and all this stuff. And I asked Kretak to help me stop a murder assassination. And then Koval shows up. He listens to this whole thing. And this was supposed to be about saving his life, or stopping him from being murdered by Section 31. But he's the whole thing here. And so, the senator's like, "I'm sorry. I thought I could help," and but she's like, "You should have come to me with this." They're all mad. Anyway, they end up bringing in Sloan, who is, we're told, is not who there is no Section 31, and he's actually with Starfleet intelligence. And they mentioned that this admiral had been killed by the Romulans like a year or two earlier, and that Sloan's actually his protege, and he wanted to get revenge for that murder, which is all a fabricated story, clearly. Yeah. But that's what's been going on here. And the thing that Admiral Ross had also been hinting at, there must be an operative on Romulus that Section 31's working with. It was true. It is Koval, the guy that they thought was the target of all this. He's actually the guy who's the most anti-Federation is actually their spy.
Yeah, he's the more.
But why is he? Like, that's the part I did like. Why is he working for the Federation?
Well, he's just bad at hiding it. So what he does is he goes to the other extreme, right?
Yeah, I guess. Like, I just didn't understand what his motivations were. why he's working with
I don't
Sloan.
think they even told us.
They didn't. He's just a bad guy working with another bad guy, and so Sloan is
Everybody's a double agent.
I don't know. This kind of goes on as it's all been explained and but then Sloan eventually will grab the phaser from the guy, try to shoot Koval, and Koval will shoot him. Now, what we're told here is that he was supposed to be beamed away seconds before the disruptor hits him, but the disruptor does hit him, as far as I can tell. And then I guess this is meant to be he's being beamed out.
Maybe they put like a hologram in his place or something. I don't know.
Maybe, yeah. He appears to, he really appears to get disintegrated here. It was a good ruse.
You can't kill Section 31 people.
I guess not, but it looked convincing to everyone present. Bashir doesn't quite know what to make of it. Bashir gets returned back to the Bellerophon with Admiral Ross.
Wait a second, I thought they were in the Delta Quadrant.
No, this is another ship.
I'm kidding.
Although in some shots it clearly has the Voyager's registry number on it.
Yes, I did notice that.
But anyway, so Bashir, I love how Bashir is just contemplating this all, thinking about it, and he's like, no, there's something up here. Goes to see Admiral Ross.
He's like, no, actually, he probably just dawned on him. He's like, oh, wait, he was a double agent.
Yeah. Right. I think Ducat is the father of this baby. I've been thinking hard about it.
Wait a second. You were in on this?
Yeah. He is the daddy. And then so he's like, where's Sloan? So take off. We're taking this off the comm badges. And Bashir just tosses his on the table.
That's first I've heard of it being off the record, just throwing your comm badge down.
I don't know if that was symbolic or actual.
Well, I would assume that when your comm badge is disconnected, it no longer works or something.
So are you being is it like a body cam, like a police officer has on, it's constantly?
Oh no, because body can't stay running. But I think when you disconnect the magnet, maybe that stops it from running or something. I don't know.
Or maybe it was symbolic. I think it was just symbolic.
I think it was symbolic though.
Yeah. I'm taking my rank off.
Yeah, this is off the record.
So. Well, he didn't throw the pips down like somebody else would have.
Yeah. No, but it was more. These things are heavier. You can do more of a clang with it.
Yeah. And
like
so
a poker chip throw.
So he's like, Bashir basically I figured it out. You were the one who told me not to contact Deep Space Nine. You were the one who said that there was a Romulan operative. You're the one who suggested I talk to Kretak even about it. And then I was all alone. And then you conveniently had an aneurysm. A convenient aneurysm. And coming out.
Well, as Norman says, one of the fastest recoveries ever.
Right. And he's like, why did you sell out Kretak? She was on her side. He goes, no, she wasn't. She was a patriot. She would have done whatever was good for Romulus. If it was good for the Romulans to go with the Dominion, she would do it, et cetera, et cetera.
So I guess the question is, would she?
If you take him at his word, it's an interesting position, right? Because I think he's is he not a patriot too of the Federation? So I guess he's not judging her other than to say she was expendable, in the greater good, in his mind, the greater good is ending this war sooner than later.
But I think that's what's good about the writing of this episode is the fact that we are left with this, right? Because we really, at the end of the day, we don't know really how good or bad this guy actually is. We don't really know.
Well, also this and In the Pale Moonlight makes us realize that the Romulans are right to distrust us.
Yes.
Right.
Well, it's just like when you look in Enterprise, right? The spying that was going on between the Andorians and actually it was Vulcans, yeah. But that spying, same idea. Everybody's like, "Ah, you're crazy," and it's like, nope. Turns out they were. You're jackasses.
Earlier in the episode, Bashir says to Kretak, "Let's put aside 3 centuries of mistrust and work together to stop a murder."
A moida.
A murder.
Moida.
A murder.
Where's Vic when you need him?
But so Bill Ross says I don't like sending kids to their death. We have to end the war.
That's a glib answer and a cheap way to avoid the fact that you've trampled on the very thing that those young men and women are out there dying to protect. Does that not mean anything to you?
Does that not mean anything to you?
I think the delivery could have been better on that line.
Maybe. And then, of course, the final thing where Bill Ross says the title of the episode.
Enter Arma Enim Silent Leges.
In time of war, the law falls silent. Cicero. So is that what we have become? A 24th century Rome, driven by nothing other than the certainty that Caesar can do no wrong.
We never had this conversation, and he kicks Bashir out of the room. And as far as I know, they never have a conversation.
He's like, piss off.
Does he know that they're in a war?
He knows.
And I don't feel like he does. Like, and
who are you referring to?
Bashir.
Well, I mean, they've got the mistrust.
But
Like he doesn't seem to understand. Like even though the the Romulans are their allies, they're this is not it's a convenience alliance, man.
Right. Well, the way that Garrick looked at Bashir is also the way kind of Bill Ross is looking at Bashir, and so maybe Bashir is kind of an outlier, or at least that's the reason he doesn't wear a red uniform. I don't know. You know,
the Russians are aligned with the Germans at the beginning of the war, so. There you go.
Yeah, well, they were. Yeah, like these alliances are often changing, and you imagine that they would in space.
They flux, yeah.
And so I don't know. Like Bashir's an idealist. He believes in the greater good of the Federation. And
I think he's a doctor. I think that's the difference.
He's also a doctor.
The thing
that's
about
why he's
Bashir,
a bad choice for this role. Like
it's the doctor trope, right?
The doctor is, or Bashir is idealistic and moral, but he's always being led around by the nose by lesser moral people, and he barely pushes back. He does their bidding every one of these episodes.
Right. Even when Cisco was like, "Give me that biogenic gel," right? He's like, "I want this order in writing, sir." He's like, "I thought you were. Now go get the gel." It's not because he's right, but they don't care. They're like
exactly
right, you know. And then the final scene is back on Deep Space Nine. Bashir back in his pajamas, with Sloan waking up, or he's waking up to Sloan in his bed. He's like, "There you are, you know. Should I applaud? Should I clap for your performance?" You know, and Sloan's like, "You know, thanks, man. Like, you were great. You did everything we wanted you to, and you were the perfect mark.
You are kicking post, and you did well."
His final speech, I thought, was really interesting, where he says, "You're the reason we exist."
You're also the reason Section 31 exists. Someone has to protect men like you from a universe that doesn't share your sense of right and wrong.
Right. And I think that's often the sort of, I think that there's real world comparisons to things we're dealing with today, guys, in these ways. You know, in the geopolitical landscape as it stands. And that, you know, I think that's often like the argument around this kind of like less like not living purely by ideals and going by what's practical, I guess, but and even that debate, well, what's, you know, if you actually tried to do it peacefully, maybe it would work, you know, without being jerks. So
I love that line, though. I think that line was probably one of the best lines in the whole episode.
Yeah, we want you to keep being you, Julie, and you keep being good.
We want you to be the naive guy who's not cynical.
You're our poster boy. You're the one we can say, look, we're good. We have Bashir, and no one.
And in the back end, we'll do the dirty work and
we'll do the dirty stuff behind the scenes, and no one will ever know my name. And
that's what I love about Section 31.
I won't be in a history book. I won't be this or that, right? You know, and so that's the thing is like Bashir's like, well, then we're just like Rome. We don't deserve to exist if we're not able to do it under the values we say we do, right? You know, and I think that's the counter argument. And then Bashir goes to call security when Sloan leaves.
Where's the phaser, Dave?
Where's the phaser? And then Odo's like, what's up? And he's like, oh yeah, Odo will never catch this guy. Never mind. And he just goes.
He's the best
Wait a second. The security on this station is terrible.
No, it's not. It's supposed to be the best.
Yeah,
I love that Odo has no follow-up questions at all when he's like, "Oh, sorry, my mistake." Like,
Yeah,
nothing. He's like, "Okay,
good.
bye."
Bye. Anyway, that's that. Yeah.
I
so
completely agree with that, Norman.
the Disco Raiders did not. So yes, what I hated what Disco did with Section 31 was try to make them just Starfleet intelligence, which I never liked.
Which is silly.
They're supposed to be like they're supposed to be secret, like they have no official standing, whatever. Anyway, so that's the episode plot, guys. Thanks for all the comments, guys. So it's been going strong. Adam, do you have any trivia for us on this episode?
I do. So
Fun facts, we call them.
Fun facts with Adam.
Thank you.
No problem.
Okay, so the role of Senator Kretak was originally played by Megan Cole in The Image of Sand and Shadows and Symbols, but she was unavailable to reprise her role for this episode, so the producers chose Adrienne Barbeau instead.
I totally didn't notice it was a recast at all.
Me neither.
I guess that's when you get a full
I knew we
makeup
saw the
on.
character before, but I couldn't figure out where it was from.
Yeah. Although the storyline addresses the ongoing war with Dominion, it is the last standalone story of the Deep Space Nine series. Every episode until the finale is one long story arc. Yay, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Okay, this is one of the first, only 4 times that Romulus is seen from Orit. The planet is not seen again until Star Trek Nemesis, and then later again in Star Trek Enterprise is 4th season.
Oh yeah.
As they've done with the gray uniforms first seen in Star Trek First Contact, the producers decided to hold back the white dress uniforms until after Insurrection was in the theaters. So
Okay. So that's why they waited. But they would have been theoretically in circulation already. But they wanted to show up on the movie. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so
Go ahead.
Sorry. Were you talking about John Fleck?
No, I was talking about Romeo and Ale.
Oh, okay. Well, I was trying to figure out where I knew Koval from, and I was like, John Fleck, I know that name. It's Soval. It's like the Suliban guy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Anyway, sorry. Romulan Ale.
Romeo and Ale, mentioned to be illegal and unattainable since Star Trek The Wrath of Khan, is finally legal in this episode in the context of the Federation Alliance. However, in Star Trek Nemesis, it is again mentioned to be illegal. Its legality has been suggested a few episodes earlier in Covenant when Bashir ordered a glass of it at Quark's. So I guess the first time they ever said it was illegal is when Dr. McCoy was giving Captain Kirk his glasses and the bottle of Romulan.
Yeah, back in Wrath of Khan, right? Or no, it's Search for Spock, I guess. Was the first
No,
time.
that was Search for Spock. Yeah.
Oh, it was Wrath of Khan, right? It's in Wrath of Khan.
It also makes me think that Romulan ale is not dangerous. It's not banned in the Federation because it's too strong. It's banned for political reasons or
it's like
trade
Cuban cigars.
And,
It's like MSG. That's a good. There you go. That's a good.
I think Cuban cigars might be
I'm proud of myself on that one.
Analogy.
Okay, this is the first time that a Star Trek Federation starship, the Elefron, is shown to visit Romulus, although not the first time Starfleet officers are shown on Romulan homeworld. The first time was with Unification in 1 and 2. Sorry, I have a few others here. Just trying to get down to them.
Did you know that John Fleck was also on Babylon 5?
No, wouldn't have known that.
That's good.
Kevin?
I'm sure you've told me that before.
Okay, just wanted you to know.
Thanks.
This episode was shot prior to Bada Bing, Bada Bang, but aired following. And this is the last episode to be directed by David Livingston. And then finally, Armin Shimmerman, Quark, and Jake Sisko do not appear in this episode. And Nicole de Boer only appears for 6 seconds. What was the point?
She was on the payroll.
Yeah. Initially, the plan was for Bashir to fool Sloan and to expose him. But early in the writing process, Ron Moore took the script an entirely other direction rather than Bashir duping Sloan, because that would have made him look too smart. That's my commentary. Bashir thinks he's duping, where Bashir thinks he's duping Sloan, but in reality, Sloan is duping him.
No, yeah, I like what they actually did.
The way it was done.
Yeah.
I don't think
better.
Bashir beating Sloan would have been boring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
And then
and not even close to the character.
All right, and I'll wrap it up here. The non-canon novel Epiphany, Senator Kretek has been imprisoned but not executed. During the story, she disappears from her prison cell, with the praetor suspecting the complicity of Lavinia Cherevek, a disgraced Romulan commander from the Enterprise incident in 1968. So, that was a non-canon novel Epiphany. I think I didn't say that right. So there was more of Senator Kretek in the novels that they have out there as well, Dave. So, all in all, let's get to ratings.
Comment. Here it comes. Oh, no, he's not going to do it. I thought he was going to say, it's not canon.
Nah, that's okay. All right, guys. Well, Inter Arma Enim Silent Leges. Let's rate this episode. I will give this episode an 8.5. It's pretty good. Jody?
You know what? I want to give it that high because William Sadler. I'm going to do a 7.5.
Okay. Adam?
7. Sorry, I'm giving this a solid 8.
8. And Kevin?
8 as well.
8 from Kevin. Davan already gave it a 9 in advance. So we are averaging 8.2. It has an 8.3 on IMDb. So the audience largely likes this one too. And yes, you mentioned David Livingston, his last directorial. He directed a lot of episodes throughout the run, and Ronald D. Moore. So that's that for this episode. We've covered now episode 16. The next episode is called Penumbra.
1 and 2.
Penumbra is about Worf is lost in a perilous region of space in the Badlands after a ship he was commanding was destroyed. So Ezri goes after him.
Ezri?
Yeah, I remember this.
Why would the counselor go after him?
Not only that, but this is a 2-parter.
Well, because she suddenly is like Jadzier's memories are weakened in her. So
we don't want to give away too much more.
We don't want to give away too much here, but Adam, this is kind of the beginning of what is basically like an 8 or 9 part finale.
Well, I just mentioned that. So, are we going to do a 2-parter then next week?
Well, I don't know. Yeah, like, is it a to be continued, guys, or is it like, it's not technically a 2-parter? That's kind of the weird.
Well, that episode is a 2-parter.
No, it's not. It's just it has a kind of a cliffhanger, but basically there's 9. So we can either do it week by week, or we can watch all 9 episodes and then talk about it all. But
I would rather not do that.
No. Plus, I need more time on an intro. I got an intro still in the go here.
But generally, we
for another series that we're going to be covering.
Yeah. So okay. So then, Penumbra. So it is the first of this 9-parter, but it's not technically a true 9-parter. I don't know how to tell you. It's.
I'm almost positive that this is a 2-part episode coming up.
It feels like it is, but it's not.
No, I even think it was labeled that.
Hold on, let me check.
It's not.
No, I don't think it is.
Okay.
Yes and no. It's not a part 2, and it's not a to be continued. But these next 9 episodes are one big storyline. So so you just got to keep that in mind. It becomes less episodic here.
Okay, what you didn't say is that Ezri takes the runabout and searches him against Sisko's orders. Okay, I feel better already. That's good.
Right? Yeah. He says don't, and then she does anyway.
That's good.
And then she does. She does some more Ezri stuff. Anyway,
these Starfleet officers on this base are so compliant. It's unbelievable. They're always running off.
Yeah, exactly.
Sisko doesn't know how to keep his people in line. That's the problem.
Oh well, that's true. Unless when he yells at you, though, you don't want to get yelled at by Sisko.
Yeah, but if you're not there, he can't yell at you.
Sisko thrives in the chaos. He loves chaotic people.
Yeah, like Bashir.
Well, he doesn't love Bashir, let's say, but
yeah. Remember when Bashir's like, "Can I ask what you're going to do?"
May I ask what you're going to do?
No, you may not. And I want that report on my desk within the hour.
That's the best line ever.
I did like that line though.
No, you may not.
Nope, you may not.
Yeah. How would you go back to doing some tricorder stuff? All right.
9
all
episodes
right.
left, eh? Wow.
9 episodes
Yeah.
left, and so here we
And
go,
I wasn't
guys.
even here for most of them.
Sam gave this one a 9. The start of the final chapter. And guys, and then we have our Star Trek The Next Generation podcast and the Orville launching in 9 weeks, presumably, or 10 weeks. So get ready for that.
We got Discovery in between, though.
We have Discovery starting on April 3rd. So, or 4th, I believe. So
I can't wait for the mediocre last season.
We'll see.
Jody.
It's going to be.
We have a crew to talk all about it, about the 32nd century. Chris Murphy coming on in. I think maybe Heather. So we'll have people to talk about it. Look out for the other stuff here on the channel. I think there was trivia happening. Star Trek trivia. Did that happen
Soon.
I think
I don't
Ashley's
know.
doing that soon, isn't she?
Yeah,
It's
it
Friday
hasn't
night
happened
now.
yet.
It's
Friday
been
night.
moved. It's been moved a couple times. Yeah. So it's look out for this Friday night. We got a newcomer coming in from another channel. So we're excited for that.
Oh yes, I know who that is.
Yeah, I think
I'm actually quite excited about that. I can't wait.
His name's
to watch
Mark Cartier.
Yeah.
From the Shuttlepod show.
Shuttlepod show.
Yeah, that's the one they do with the Enterprise guys, right? So,
Yeah, it's a great show.
Yeah, so they're coming on. He's coming on in. Look out for that Friday. What else is it? Is that it, guys? I think that's it here on the channel.
Well, you got your other shows, but who cares about Big Brother and all that?
Exactly. Check out the United Federation of Podcasts, ufpodcast.com. All kinds of great shows like Super Mater Brothers Podcasting, like X-Rated, who have their X-Men 97 stuff starting after March 20th. When those
Actually, we're
episodes-
also reviewing the Wolverine tomorrow.
Oh, is
Maybe
that
the
tomorrow?
Wolverine. Yeah, I believe it's tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm on it, so
That's the one
I
no
have
one
to
talks
watch it.
about, but it's.
I love that movie.
Yeah, that's the one. It's okay. It's like it's not bad.
Like I
It's-
wouldn't say it's the greatest cinematic thing in the world, but
it's good. It's good,
it's
not great.
better than X-Men 3. I can tell you that.
It's better than a lot of
Not
things.
that that's hard.
So, but yeah, anyway, so check out that on X-Rated Graphic Histories podcast. Andre Mayette interviewing all kinds of great people from comic books and entertainment and others. Hold Up a Movie podcast. And we also have a new movie podcast, guys, joining the Federation. They're called Hey, Did You See This One Yet? With Jason R. Phillips, who's been on some Trivial Debates episodes, and Stephen Waters.
Why do I know this? Is this a new podcast, or are they just moving?
No, it's not a new. It's
So I must have
they-
listened to it before then.
Well, you were on the Office episode of Trivial Debates.
Oh yeah, okay, yep.
That guy, the guy who hosted.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
cool. I like him.
Yeah. This is their graphic. Hey,
They'll be a great addition to the family.
Yeah, they're in the Federation now, so look out for that.
Excellent.
And Eamon on Track, he was just talking about Stan Rogers, a great Canadian folk singer, guys. If you didn't know, I was on with Davan talking all about it. Great St. Patrick's Day album to be getting into, as that is coming.
Yeah,
up
that
in
album
the-
just screams St. Patrick's Day.
Doesn't it, or is that your? You,
I don't
I don't
know.
think. Did you
I
listen
didn't
to
listen
it?
to all of them.
All right.
I only know like 2 songs.
Okay. Well, it's Celtic in a sense. Anyway,
It
or
is, yeah,
Jason. And I think that's it, guys. I think that's all the plugs I'll do at the moment. Oh, Survivor. Big Super Mater Brothers podcast Wednesday. Look out for that. We're back. 46. We're to episode 3. They're 2-hour episodes now, guys. Not even 90 minutes now. They've gone from 1 hour to 90 minutes. Now we're 2 hours.
So how long does it take you guys to discuss it?
An hour.
Yeah, because it's not as there's a lot of filler, right?
Big Brother Canada. Sam wishes you were on Big Brother Canada as a mystery all-star.
Oh, thanks.
I wish he was too.
He'd have to have been on the show once already. Sam,
Yeah,
to be,
has to be an all-star.
Yeah, to be returning. But I would like to see him on there. Anyway, I think that's it, guys. Let's get out of here. Let's play my final clip of the night. What?
All right.
Let's go with this. We didn't play this on the show. Live long and podcast, everyone. We'll see you next time.
I shall endeavor to become more cynical with each passing day. Look gift horses squarely in the mouth and find clouds in every silver lining.
If only you meant it.